Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Smite Super Builds. Today we have the lovely Poseidon. It was kind of requested also, and decided to make a new one. This build, right off the bat, is more of just the more typical mage style build, just a lot of high power. We also have a couple items that buff up our whirlpool. There's a couple ways you can build Poseidon. Honestly, you can build them the typical mage, just a lot of power, or you can build them to kind of utilize his passive and his, his trident meter. If you don't know what the trident meter is, basically upon each successful basic attack, it increases the meter. Then once you have the full high tide, like the bar maxed out, your abilities deal an additional 20% damage at max tide level. Like I said, high tide speed, movement speed increases up to 10% at max tide level, and each basic attack grants you a 10% additional tide level. And also, once you use your 2, it doesn't actually consume your tide, so it does it beefs up your base damage on your basic attacks, and also splits it into like 3 basic attacks as well. So if you want to utilize, like, if you just want to keep take the full advantage of the tide and his passive and everything, you might build a little bit more attack speed oriented, somewhat close to like Freya, like Demonic Grip, maybe Haste of Metalis. Things like that you may pick up, so you can do more basic attacks quickly, and you can fill up your tide meter, and your abilities will do more damage. But going with the build kind of oriented towards attack speed equals less damage. So you can build like that, or you can build just how this is, just a typical mage build. So this is a little bit more newbie friendly. You have to kind of be a little bit more aggressive when doing the whole basic attack type of route, using his passive a lot. Because you have to keep swinging and keep hitting either minions or chasing down players with basic attacks and things like that. So let's go ahead. We're going to go with Shoes of Magi because we're going to go extra penetration. This is a really high bursty Poseidon build, so we're going to go with Shoes of Magi. Or if you really feel like, you can go with the cooldown boots. Each works well fine. Next, Gem of Isolation is kind of pricey, so we're going to get this out of the way. But what's really the whole point of Gem of Isolation on Poseidon is for his whirlpool. So most Poseidons, they typically, they smash their forehead on 1 through 4 on their keyboard, and then you win. But if you want to go in order, you probably go like use whirlpool first, and that kind of sucks them in a little bit, kind of slows them. But once it's a damage over time effect, so that first tick of damage on the whirlpool, the Gem of Isolation is going to slow them by 25% on top of the whirlpool sucking them in. So it's going to be easier for you to land, your basic attacks, and mainly your Kraken. Like whirlpool mostly is followed up by the big 1-4 Kraken. Of course, you would aim that more properly. I just kind of threw it around, but yeah, that's kind of the idea there. So, and it also grants a little bit more survivability with the health and mana and everything like that. Next, Spear of Magus would be one of the good penetration items to go with, because it's really easy to apply the passive stacks on it, because the whirlpool is damage over time. So with these first 3 items, your whirlpool is going to be pretty deadly. A lot of damage over time, lowering their magical protection and slowing them all at the same time. And next, since this is a high burst damage build and pretty expensive, we're going to get Rod to Hootie kind of early as our 4th item, and then followed up by Soul Reaver. So when you do your 1-4 Kraken, it's going to do a lot of damage. A lot of damage. And then finally, Bancroft's Talon for that lifesteal, since we don't have any lifesteal at all, and we have no defense items, so lifesteal works out pretty great as well. And the passive also works really well when you do like your panic ulti. What I mean by that is when you're getting attacked by an assassin or warrior, somebody in your face, you can drop your whirlpool on yourself. You're gonna get lifesteal off him, and you're also gonna do a good amount of damage because of once your HP is lower, your magical power is higher, and then you can use your ulti, and then boom, they explode away into oblivion. Next, let's go ahead to Robot and do some damages. Our power is 606. That's quite a bit of power. Now this build exactly, you might not do it in this order for Conquest. You might pick up like a stack item. Oh yeah, so if you need some defense items are typically Breastplate of Valor. That works out great for most mages. If you're getting CC'd a lot, Magi's Blessings actives depends on who you're fighting against, honestly. You may need some beads to get out of some situations, and or sprint or combat blink, because you have no escapes as Poseidon, sadly. Not really, except your passive movement speed buff. So he's gonna blind us, so I'm gonna look Oasis and blind us, okay. Whirlpool, Kraken, and like a magic trick, he is gone. Ain't that wonderful? As you see, having lifesteal on Poseidon is really good, because you get like triple lifesteal once you use your 2, and then you do like 3 basic attacks in 1. It's really nice. So damage is pretty good with this build, honestly. The only tricky thing with Soul Reaver and Poseidon, it will tick if you use the Whirlpool, and that might not be the best damage source for your Soul Reaver. So you kind of want to use it combined with your ulti instead, so you get the maximum damage all in 1 hit, and then probably use your Whirlpool. It's kind of weird like that. But that's gonna wrap it up for the build, and I'll see you guys next time. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. Peace.